Hi friends, welcome back to Julia at Home and to my final video in my curriculum series for the 2023-24 academic year. If you haven't seen the other videos in the series and you are interested in them, the playlist is in the description box below. So this video is on a curriculum and it is on exploring nature with children. And I've had this curriculum for many years. I believe it came out when my older two were in preschool. My oldest might have been kindergarten or first grade, but it's been a while. She's in 5th grade now. So it's a nature study curriculum based on Charlotte Mason nature study, and it can be used with a wide variety of ages. I pulled it out again to take a look and get some inspiration for my preschoolers this year. But I decided that I'm actually going to choose at least one theme per month from it that we're going to use with everybody to study a little bit and do a nature journaling page. So again, it's a nature study curriculum and it goes through I think 4 weeks in each month of the year. So it has every month 4 weeks, so about 48 weeks. And for each of those weeks, it has a theme, and it'll give you book ideas, a piece of artwork to look at, a poem, some other activity ideas, and it has links to the pages in the handbook. Wait, hang on, let me get it. The Handbook of Nature Study by Anna Botsford Comstock. So this is like one of those, like Charlotte Mason people use this one a lot. And this is actually based in England, I believe, at least in Great Britain. And I believe the author of this curriculum, Exploring Nature with Children, is also based in England. So you may have to adjust some things. It is, again, a digital curriculum. A lot of the curriculum I use ends up being a digital. I'm not sure if there is an option to do a printed version, but I have it bound, printed and bound, and I have 2 of them because I have fall and winter in one book and spring and summer in another book. It's just finding the bigger spirals is hard and expensive, so I end up doing things like this. So I'm just going to do a flip through of the first half today of fall and winter, and then you can get an idea if it is something that would be useful for you. Now, you don't have to start it. It starts in September, but you don't have to start it in September. You could start it any month. So I say the first half, but really I'm just starting it in September. Here we are, Exploring Nature with Children, a complete year-long curriculum, and this is by Lynn Seddon. The website where you can purchase it will be linked in the description box below. I think this is really pretty, just as a side note. There's a Rachel Carson quote in here. All right, so here is the table of contents. And this is for the table of contents for the whole thing, because again, I just split it into 2, but it's not naturally in 2. So it has a getting started section, and then it's divided by season. So you'll have a list of materials for each season, the 3 months within that season, and then it does that again. And you can see each month has the 4 weeks listed with what you're studying. I do want to note that there's a couple things that come back around. So there's a pond study, and I think there's one in each season. Autumn pond study. Well, there might not be one in winter, but there's a spring pond study and a summer pond study. And I think trees come back several times. There's autumn tree study, winter tree study. I don't know if there's, spring tree study is here, and a summer tree study. And then some of these might look odd to you, and what they are is they're celebrations at turning points of the year. So you'll have the solstices and equinox in here, like the winter solstice, the autumn equinox, the vernal equinox, which we call the spring equinox here usually, and the summer solstice. And then it might have other things. Like, I actually don't know what St. Swithin's Day is. Candlemas, I know, is either February 1st or 2nd. We've kind of turned it into Groundhog Day in the United States. But I know Candlemas itself was like a Catholic thing, but there's also Imbolc on the same day, which was like a British Isles pagan thing, and there might be other things that it's based on too in other parts of the world. Anyway, they're basically seasonal touch points, so that's what's going on there. Oh, but I should mention as I'm saying this that reading through this, we're not talking really about, it's not really religious in here. We could take a look when we get to Candlemas to look a little bit further, but yeah, anyway, okay. So I like this part, especially for new homeschoolers or people new to nature journaling or Charlotte Mason. It really explains how to do nature journaling in here and how she's laid this out. So you'll find what you need, the materials you need for each season. There is a nature walk activity for each month. The reference for, again, I showed you this before, the Handbook of Nature Study by Anna Botsford Comstock. I'll link this below too. It may be an affiliate link. A book list, a poem to enjoy, a piece of art to enjoy. We have some pictures you could discuss with your children. Extension activities. This is notes on how you might adapt the book for mixed ages. I feel like a lot of homeschool families have mixed ages they're doing this kind of thing with. And you can, like this, again, can work for a wide variety of ages. And setting up your nature journal. This has a note on calendars of firsts, which I really enjoy, keeping a family nature table. This is something I'm going to try to do this year. I might also choose something to do a calendar of firsts because I've wanted to do that for a while. There's suggested materials like field guides, nature journals, any materials for recording in your journal. I love doing watercolors in mine. Magnifying glass. You might also want binoculars, just a note from me. Okay, so let's move on. So then it moves into the month, and it has the equipment needed listed by month and week. So it's telling you here in September, week 1 is seeds. You don't need anything special for the nature walk. For the extension activities, you need glue and heavyweight cardstock. I haven't actually done most of the extension activities when I've done these, just as a side note. But they're great ideas if you're wanting more, like a lot of them are art, really. Here we go. Or there's some experiments too. This one, it's having you do a nighttime walk. So it's a torch is a flashlight in American. Okay. Here we go. So you kind of get the idea here. Tells you what you're gonna need. But again, I would just look through and see what you think you need. Some things also might be able to be substituted out with something you already have. And then we're into September, week 1. So collecting seeds. It's talking about, because the theme is seeds. So it's going to talk about that. You could even read some of this to your child, but it's really written for you to read through and then to do the activities with your child, share any info you get and such. So there's that. Yeah, there's a safety note here. So the nature activity this week is they want you to choose a regular nature spot to observe the different plants and trees there. So you're going to go there and spend some time together collecting various fruits and seeds. That's why there's a safety note here. And think about how the seeds are dispersed. You can draw them or do a table in your nature journal. It talks about the different ways that plants might disperse their seeds. And again, this is based in England, so a lot of the plants and animals she's talking about are native there. So you may have to adjust to where you are. There. Then there's nothing specific here, but you can learn about specific plants there. Okay, then it has book options. And Autumn by Emily Dickinson is a poem. And there's a piece of artwork to enjoy. And then the extension activities for this week. Display your seed collection on the nature table. You can do like a seed mosaic, basically. Gather seeds from different trees. Experiment to see which will flutter when dropped. And will they float? So there's lots of different activities, ideas in here. I would encourage you, unless this is the only curriculum you're using for like preschool or something, you probably don't want to do all of the activities. This is designed, it's wonderful because you can kind of go off on rabbit trails, and also you can use this over and over again, multiple years, exploring things a little bit differently each year. And again, I don't think I've ever done it where I do every week. So I can go back, like I chose some this year, and then I can go back the following year and do different ones. So it's just a really useful resource to have. This is on Mini Beast, so it's on insects or bugs. So they're talking about insects versus like arachnids and such. There's a lot of different, so especially with the Handbook of Nature Study. Let me give you a peek in here. This is not something you want to read a ton of, especially with young children. It's very dense. So there's lots of really good information in here, but again, very, very dense. So I would not be reading all of these. I would choose one or two that you're especially interested in. And then if one leads to another, that's great. But yeah, I wouldn't be reading all of these, but she gives you all these options. The book list tends to be aimed, I feel like, younger, especially the fiction ones. And I've found them to be really good suggestions, good books. I think I have this book, Girls Who Look Under Rocks. It has chapters on different female scientists, and I should find that. Ah, we love this poem. My oldest and I memorized this when she was in preschool. It's, in case you can't read that, it's Hurt No Living Thing by Christina Rossetti. Okay. Oh, this has an acrostic poem as an option for an activity. Again, I'm not going to read all of this. This is going to take forever if I do it, but you can see September week 3 is the harvest moon. And the nature walk that week is to go outside at night because it's the moon. There's a haiku poem as an extension activity in here. Autumn equinox. I love celebrating the seasons, and I just want to be able to do more around the equinoxes and solstices. So every year I try. It's always a goal for me, and maybe this year I'll do even better. So these are great ideas. Autumn leaves. This is I like this poem quite a bit. October's Party by George Cooper. And then you've got Autumn Pond Study. There are safety notes because ponds, again, water. I always get nervous with my kids around water. I make them take swim lessons in the summer, and we have very strict rules. We actually have a pond on our property, and we have very strict rules about going to it. Like, you can't go near it without an adult is really the rule. Ooh, make an underwater viewer. That's a cool idea. Okay. Autumn tree study. Pumpkins. If you watched my Buckets and Berries curriculum flip through, pumpkins is actually the theme of October. So this could go well together. So November, fungus. Fungus is fun to talk about. It's actually really useful in, the garden and in nature in general for plants. And also, we love to eat mushrooms here. These are some, I don't have a lot of books on mushrooms and other non-plant or animal things, so that could be really interesting. Moss, I believe with some of these, and it's kind of silly me, I don't have my list in front of me, but I had gone through this and some of these ended up in different months, actually, just because I had some, like, there's more we can do here in certain months than others. Like January and February, we can't do a lot here. So I think I put this in like February to do moss, even though we won't be able to see a lot outside then. Moss is something I can get, like we can observe it if it's not covered in snow, but also that we can do like terrariums inside or something with moss and just learn about it even if we can't see it outside. Oh, there's an Emily Dickinson poem and a Van Gogh. I don't know that Van Gogh piece. Interesting. Okay, so one of the ideas here that I had read was make a terrarium, and I really want to do that. So I'm going to put that high on the list. Lichen. And then weather. I think this is another one that I decided to do at another time. For us, our weather is so different based on the different seasons. Right now, it's summer here and it's been getting pretty hot. I mean, to be fair, not as hot as, the southern United States or even the western United States. So we're lucky on that front. If it gets into the 90s, it's very hot here. But it is very humid, and we've had a ton of humidity and a ton of rain this year. But then in the winter, it gets very cold, and there are months where we don't get above freezing, and we can get a lot of snow depending on the year. So it's very different. There's a rainbow book. I'm going to be looking at that. I want to do a rainbow unit with my children. I have some of these from when we did weather unit with my other kids. So I'll link to that video where I shared my weather resources with you. Okay. And then we're into winter. So again, it's going to tell you the supplies needed for the various weeks. And Christmas plants. So this is not so much about Christmas. As I said, I don't consider this a religious curriculum. Like, I haven't really seen any like Bible verses or anything like that. But this is just saying like around Christmas time. So you could just say holiday plants instead. But a lot of these are evergreens, holly, ivy, mistletoe, Christmas roses, poinsettias and such are often associated with Christmas or holiday time. Most of my family is Christian, so I don't know if there are if some of these or certain other ones are also connected to Islam or Judaism. So if you know, let me know. I do have Jewish relatives. I should ask them. But as far as I know, I don't know if they have these same connections. There's that. I know that some of them are also kind of pagan or seasonal beliefs as well, talk about evergreens and such. So it's just talking about the plants, which makes sense at this time of year. Let's see. Okay, now we're on to winter birds here. It's a long one. There's a lot of options for here. There's a lot of options for this this week. All right, the winter solstice. I love celebrating the winter solstice. I have some of my own traditions, and I have some of these books as well. All right, so again, this is the 12 days of Christmas. So this looks a little bit more... I haven't done this one. This seems to be kind of more like a continuation of like the winter solstice and the turning of our calendar year. 12th night, stargazing. Okay. All right, and then into January, we're looking at the winter sky. It's a great time to look for stars during the winter. I should mention here too, if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, you could just like kind of use these themes for when they work for you. So you could be doing these things in July, for example. That's okay. Just wanted to put that out there. The moon. We just recently did an astronomy study, which was aimed more at my older kids, but I had a couple moon books for and some other books for my younger two as well. Oh, I love doing the different moons. We have, I'll link the book below, the full moon book that I have. It just has like a spread on each, like it chooses one of the traditional names for that moon that month. And then it also has blue moon in there. Anyway, it's beautiful. Winter tree study, and this talks about buds, opposite and alternate buds, and world buds, so that's cool. Winter pond study. So Candlemas. So they're noting here that it's the 2nd of February, and it falls midway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, and it takes its name from the blessing of candles for use in the church throughout the coming year. But it is, again, like a day that is recognized in different cultures and religions. So there you go. It can sometimes be seen as the beginning of spring in some places. Earthworms. So I can't access earthworms really in February. Our ground is frozen. So this one, if I were to choose, I would have to do this a different month. Evergreens, good thing to do during the winter. Is that it? Oh, did I miss one? Hang on. Oh, a field trip. So this in, I think it comes up once or twice, where it recommends you go to a different kind of environment than you normally do. All right. So again, that's just the first half. There is also spring and summer. But you get an idea for what kind of information is in there and how it works. I find it to be a great starting off point. Gives me lots and lots of ideas, great book suggestions. So that is Exploring Nature with Children, and this is the wrap up of my curriculum series for this year. Whew, it's been a lot, but I really hope that it's been helpful to you. I know that most of you have children of different ages, and so not every video is going to be useful or apply to all of you, but I'm hoping that you all got at least something out of at least one of these videos. So I am going to slow down posting a bit in that I will not be posting almost every day now, but I do have more videos on setting up for our upcoming school year. In particular, the next one should be on our routine that I have planned for this year. So stay tuned for that. And I'm hoping to get at least one out for you a week going forward. So if you like this video, of course, give it that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I hope you are all healthy and safe and well, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, friends.